computer or because Twitch is temperamental sometimes. Let's just head back into the game on pause and get going.
Okay, I do want to thank Europe for the donation there. I'm sorry. Yes, that was Europe. Sorry, there were multiple names in the message there. Do appreciate the donation, and yeah, let's keep on going. Let's keep on keeping on. So if the frames continue to drop, just let me know. We'll make another adjustment. This is the inaugural run of Killer B on Voobly Official, and I do want to thank these guys again for giving me an opportunity. Let's switch this back in-game. We'll tab over to the game itself, and we will unpause it. Excuse me. We were just talking about how Vivi, SMB was just talking about how Vivi tends to tower forward with this Civ, but I wonder if we'll see a quick change in strategy. I mean, if you see a map that is this beautiful, I think you need to take a step back and say, how committed am I to that tower rush? What do you think about that, SMB? I mean, it's got to consider hanging back, right, and booming up a little bit here.
I think he's still going for it because he's pushing deer. Almost like he's focusing on that for its uptime. He is walling at home though, so maybe that could be the sign that he's not. I was wondering whether he was pushing deer to try and get a really fast uptime, maybe like 20, 21 pop, which would be good for Spanish, and then go. But the map may well have changed his mind, as you say, and he hasn't scouted Yinghua at all, which is a bit of a clue, because if you're going to go and do a tower rush, it's always best to know that your opponent's map isn't the dream for defending against tower rushes. So it could be that he does actually depart from his past Spanish strategy and just try and wall this map. He might even go for a bit of a naked fast castle with the push deer that he's done, which would be pretty ballsy, but it'd be pretty fun to see. So he could even try and go straight for conks, which would work very, very well with.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, you wonderful man.
That is beautiful commentary. Sorry, just trying. That is beautiful commentary. Sorry, just trying to keep up with you here. At the moment, trying to work out some lag issues on my end. We are seeing villagers going over to stone for Vivi. Vivi is closed in. I do appreciate that donation that just came through. I apologize that it did not pop up on the screen. We do very much appreciate you, and I'll try to look in the scroll after the game and see who that was from. But thank you very much. Look at the villagers here coming forward. We are in faster speed than we want to be. Let's get this back to 50%. Okay, sorry about that, folks. Hopefully
what time mark are you on?
Yes, let me pause. I am on time 10:46.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I was on faster speed out of that.
Yeah, when you pause Rex, they sometimes speed up, so just notice when they go a bit fast and then drop it to 50 again. I'm on 1040 now, so you can unpause.
Okay, so 10:46, I am unpausing,
yeah.
and we are on 50 speed. We are back in business. So it
looks... and don't worry about this as well, it's fine, we can just sync up and everything.
Look at the wolves here. The wolves are in play. Loom for Yinghua, so he'll be just fine. Those who watch my stream know that I absolutely love wolf kills, but unfortunately we will not see wolves killing any villagers in this particular game, at least not so far. We are seeing a forward watchtower actually here from Yinghua, so potentially going to attack Vivi with Vivi's own strategy. 3 villagers on stone, a 4th one coming for Yinghua. Vivi with actually 4 villagers on stone as well.
Thank you, you wonderful man.
And thank you again for that donation. Again, I haven't seen them quite yet, but I will catch up with that. We see men-at-arms here from Yinghua, 4 of those on the front, and we are just seeing Vivi now hit Feudal Age on 27 total pop for Vivi. Vivi with the defensive tower. It looks like at the moment Yinghua will have the hill, but Vivi is still closed, at least for now. We're seeing defensive towers and a second layer of walls here from Vivi coming across. It looks like this is a pretty nice aggression here from Yinghua, but I'm not sure if Vivi will be able to close in before it gets in.
I actually think it's going to work out pretty well for him, because Vivi was actually aiming for a fully walled Market Blacksmith FC into Conquistadors. It's actually pretty easy for him to do, just spend a bit of stone, doing counter towers, potentially re-walling behind it. He feels comfortable enough that he can defend from this, that he's still dropping a market, so he's still going to try and FC off the back of this, even with the 4 man-at-arms plus towers pressure from Yinghua. And I think it's going to put him in a pretty decent position, actually, if he can manage to do a more or less uninterrupted FC, which he's managed because he's clicked up a really good time of 13-18. If he can get the castle off this and start to produce conquistadors, Love Cheng is going to have a lot of trouble defending back at home, and I don't really see him getting in, given that Vivi will be able to counter tower and re-wall pretty easily, and he's got so many resources in the back of his map.
Yeah, we're seeing stone walls coming across for Vivi, or at least one piece of stone wall to try to reinforce that wall. On the front, Yinghua has 5 villagers, or Love Cheng, I suppose we should both call him the same name, has 5 villagers in this tower. They are trying to keep the pressure on, stopping Vivi's villagers from repairing those palisades and putting some pressure on this tower as well. As you said, it's going to be a race against time. Obviously, Castle Age coming for Vivi, quite a few villagers on stone. As you said, Conquistadors seems like a very good idea. And the big question right now is, how good is Vivi's micro going to be defending this area and holding out Yinghua as long as possible? Meanwhile, if we look back at home for Yinghua, we see 31 total vills. Actually has 5 idols, but those are the 5 in that tower. Very safe wood line, taking gold with 2 vills. So a very normal, unharassed feudal age for Yinghua for the moment. And yeah, so we're going to see if defense can beat offense in this game for Vivi. The last game was absolutely the opposite. It did not work out for Vivi. Vivi was incredibly aggressive and ended up maybe stretching himself a little too thin. Yinghua got that win. In this game, we're going to see the opposite. We're going to see Yinghua coming forward with lots of pressure and Vivi trying to defend it.
Yeah, I think at this point the men at arms forward is very much petering out for Yinghua. He's still 400 food away from picking up, and he realizes he's in this bad spot. He will probably have seen the castle that is coming up for Vivi, and he's panic stonewalling at home. My game has actually speeded up quite a lot, and I'm gonna try and let it do that, because what it will do is it will speed up towards the the host time, and then it will slow down to its natural speed then. So I'm at 1845. Is that round about where you are?
We are at 1720 at the moment, so you're a little ahead of us, but we do see that castle coming down. That is going to be up and unharassed from Vivi. Vivi's going to get that just fine. Not a terrible position on that castle. Is going to reinforce the pinch point of this town center in the middle. So if Yinghua does get through, I think Vivi is going to be very safe, like you said. Mr. Man from the future, you are very correct. In the meantime, Vivi's castle goes up. Thank you for Spectator Dashboard 2 letting us know that. And the stone walls are continuing to be built by Vivi. So Vivi seems in good shape. On the other side, we're actually seeing Yinghua starting to wall up the center of this map, probably sensing that the pressure is going to push him back on the frontier and eventually head toward Yinghua's area. That should give Yinghua a little bit more time to react to what is going to be a conquistador army from Vivi. Defensive tower here for Yinghua on the gold. Also going to see a market, and if we look at the resources, we can see that Yinghua is getting relatively close, having enough gold but not quite enough food just yet. So I think we will see a click up soon here from Yinghua, and hopefully Yinghua can retreat a little, rely on these walls for a few minutes, and hope to equal what is going to be the pressure from Vivi's conquistadors. I'm really wondering if...
I think...
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think I'm probably still ahead of you, so I'm kind of keeping quiet until I sense that you've caught up to the host time. But the Conquistador raiding for Vivi is proving extremely effective, basically idling almost everything that Yinghua has, or wherever the Conquistadors choose to go. It inflicts a ton of idle time, and also the villager difference is starting to mount. So Vivi taking firm control of the game at this point.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
Pretty much the only thing keeping Yinghua in it is the fact that he was already on stone from the tower rush that enables him to then throw up defensive towers at home.
Absolutely, and just to let you know, we are at 2020 at the moment, and I will keep updating you as we go. For the moment, those conquistadors are doing just what you said they would do. They are harassing and idling lots of villagers here from Yinghua. And Yinghua is up to castle. He is clicked up to castle almost halfway through that research. But the problem is these conquistadors are starting to multiply. Right now I see 5 or 6 on the field. 3 of them are active in the front area of Yinghua. Yinghua has put up a defensive tower, which is going to do a good job pushing these conks away, at least from that gold pile. But as you said, that's a lot of resources and a lot of villager time spent building those. In addition, if we look at the idols at the moment, it is 16 idols for Yinghua. And what total population here is 37 vills and 35 vills for Yinghua. So Vivi with the villager advantage and idling a lot of Yinghua's villagers. So Vivi taking full advantage of being the first one with a real Castle Age army, or with a Castle Age army at all. If we look at upgrades right now, we do see +1 defense for those conks. The military from Yinghua has not been upgraded. Of course, we are not expecting to see more men-at-arms or light cavalry, but we will keep an eye on the upgrades coming for Yinghua. Yinghua with a monastery there. Excuse me for that. Conquistadors are in. They are camped out under the tower. They picked off a couple of villagers, as we saw. And it seems like for the moment, Yinghua is firmly in control of the economy. I'm sorry, Vivi is firmly in control of the economy of Yinghua. Actually focusing down this tower at the moment, going to get those 5 villagers full free if that tower drops. Meanwhile, 4 more conquistadors on the front, and it feels like we've lost the time here again. I'll put that to 50%. We are at 23 minutes and 45 seconds in case you are trying to sync up. SMB, how are you looking over there?
I am horrendously in front of you, which is why I'm keeping mostly quiet.
Gotcha.
So I think you'll have to embark on a period of solo casting for a little while.
Gotcha.
You know when you get to about 27 or something like that.
Okay, I will. Interesting to see that that is getting away from me. That hasn't been a problem in the past. Sorry for the people in the stream. Hopefully you're still enjoying this game. Look at all of these villagers from Yinghua trying to head over to that wood line. Vivi is housed for the moment, but I think Vivi will be totally fine. Seems to be pulling away with the score at the moment, plus 400 for Vivi. These villagers from Yinghua that were on stone were idle a little longer than they needed to be inside that tower. And look at this wood line right now for Yinghua. That seems to be the bulk of his villagers that are working at the moment. Of course, needing wood to continue, but man, it just seems like a big, juicy pack of villagers. If Yinghua could get in there with these conquistadors, having 7 of them, I don't think that tower is going to be enough, and I think that's going to be a knockout blow. We'll keep an eye on them. We are seeing a second TC from Yinghua. 1 TC at the moment for Vivi, continuing to take stone with 5 villagers. Has expanded the economy and is still getting annoyed a little bit. Ooh, we're seeing those forward villagers from Yinghua finally exposed. The towers are down. We saw a ram take them down. These conquistadors should be killing those villagers any moment. And look at this. As if Killer B was from the future. It looks like that big juicy wood line of villagers who are trying to chop away at wood are going to be chewed up by conquistadors. Yinghua is reacting quite slowly to this, and he's going to lose 4 or 5 before he even tries to garrison that tower, and this is just going to be absolutely I think this is a knockout blow in my humble opinion. I think Yinghua is in a whole lot of trouble. Villager count is 32 to 45. We are 26 minutes and 30 seconds in. I wonder if we'll even see another 5 minutes of gameplay here. Look at all of these villagers dropping. In the end, Yinghua is able to convert some of those conks, but man, look at the villager skeletons that went down there. That wood line was just way overpopulated, way underguarded, and Vivi taking full advantage and really picking off a ton of villagers, plus 15 villager population at the moment for Vivi. Are you on board with us, SMB? Are you close to the same time
I'm
that
still living in the future, I'm afraid.
Ah, okay.
I try not. I maybe should pause completely and wait, but I have a fear we'll get distinct. So I will let you just continue on. I think you're doing just fine.
To be honest, you carried the beginning of this commentary so well with that beautiful analysis of the maps and analysis of previous games that, hey man, I think you deserve to sit back and maybe take a sip of a coffee or a soda, whatever you are into drinking. We are seeing monks here from Yinghua coming forward. It seems too little too late. Yinghua never finished closing in the middle. Conquistadors seem to be streaming out another castle up in the front for Vivi. Vivi will be making conquistadors from 2 castles now. If we look at upgrades, we see +1 defense for those. And the monks here in a couple of conquistadors for Yinghua really cannot be enough to push this back, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. Yinghua continuing to fight this one out. Did put a TC up on that juicy wood line that we talked about, and has 3 TCs at the moment. Meanwhile, back at home for Vivi, we're seeing a second TC coming down. So Yinghua is going to try to equalize the villager advantage of Vivi by outpopulating him. Unfortunately, though, well, actually quite a few good converts there, and a very nice defense here from Yinghua. Yinghua getting another fresh breath of life breathed into him, stealing a couple of those conks and really taking the rest of them for free. We are at 30 minutes even now, and it seems like the time is starting to fly by. Sorry guys, I will work on that. New streamer here, Killer B. Hopefully you're enjoying the cast nonetheless. I wish I was on the same time as SMB, because SMB is a true bad you-know-what. He's a bad mother, shut your mouth, as they say in Shaft. Meanwhile,
no, I'm actually more or less on the same time as you. I'm about 30 or 30 seconds now, so I think we've made it.
Gotcha.
We managed to sync up.
Absolutely,
yeah,
beautiful.
Yinghua managing to stave off death with the amount of conversions that he picked up, but Vivi is so far ahead of him in a macro sense now. 20 villagers ahead and taking relics. Interestingly, very, very late wheelbarrow actually being done by Yinghua as well, which kind of testifies just how much pressure he's been under with his economy, that he hasn't been able to probably spare the food to get that done.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Plus 21 vills at the moment. It should be something that Yinghua can claw back from with 3 TCs, but it's going to take an awfully long time. 3 versus 2 TCs means 1 villager at a time coming back in that advantage. And 23 is a huge, huge advantage to try to come back from. This Spanish economy is booming. If we look from Vivi's point of view, we don't see enough stone to drop another TC soon, and I don't see a whole lot of villagers here mining stone. I don't see any at all. So it seems like for the moment, conquistadors are still coming from Vivi, but in the long run, we'll have to see if more castles come down, if Vivi will focus a little more on stone. Meanwhile, these 2 sets of conquistadors passing like ships in the night, 2 villagers on the front and a monk on the front, certainly going to die to the conquistadors of Yinghua. Yinghua is going to take those pretty much for free, but we do have 8 or 9 conquistadors for Vivi that are in play. They are going to hopefully get some raiding done. If you are cheering out there for Vivi, we will hope that those conquistadors are used effectively. At the moment, they are headed straight toward this TC and tower, but we'll see what angle he decides to take this attack from.
Vivi is actually on a 3rd town centre, by the way, and gathering a little bit of extra stone, but with 2 castles and 3 TCs and a sizable villager advantage, I don't think he's likely to overboom into a 4th except to take map control. Yinghua's base is actually on that 4th. He's on that 4th TC actually now, trying to catch up, which may offer him a bit of a lifeline. His base is starting to look reasonably protected from conquistador raiding, especially with the number of monks and conquistadors that he has to help defend. Most of the villages that he has can jump into defensive buildings, so it'll be difficult to get more than 1 or 2 picks as long as Yinghua's reactions are on point. But
very good point. And we do see Yinghua finishing up the stone walls to close in part of the angle that Vivi can attack from. So Vivi is a little bit limited in where he can raid, and he's also, as you said, limited in how many villagers he'll be able to pick before they are garrisoned. So at the moment, Vivi with a pretty big army, and we'll have to see how effective he can be with that army. We are going to get this to 50% speed. We are on 35 minutes at the moment, and we're seeing Yinghua continue to fight this one out. One that I mistakenly called potentially a knockout blow earlier is still going, and we're going to see if Yinghua can claw his way back into this game. At the moment, we have about an 850 point advantage for Vivi. This clandestine stone mining camp on the front for Yinghua will be something that we'll keep an eye on. Actually, we're seeing conquistadors coming there now, but there are enough monks and conks to defend. That monk is surely dead. This monk as well. Vivi will retreat. splitting the army into 2 packs, 1 pack of 6 conchs, 1 pack of 9, and we'll probably, now that Vivi has seen that stone mining operation, we'll probably target it. And it looks like those 9 conchs are coming in. They are going to take one of Yinghua's converts there. But for the moment, Yinghua is going to defend this. Look at Vivi coming around the other side with conchs doing a nice harassment on this gold, on this stone pile. We'll see 1 villager go down. I wonder if he'll focus on the monks here. A couple of converts potentially coming in. These 2 armies now with a nice pincer move from Vivi. They are picking off villagers, monks, and potentially the entire army from Yinghua here. Vivi has the superior numbers. He's going to chase Yinghua's conchs away, and he's going to get all of these villagers. So very nice tactics there from Vivi. Really doing a nice job getting those villagers.
And astonishingly, we have Yinghua clicking up to the Imperial Age first, but with only 60 villagers as Celts, I am skeptical that he's going to be able to achieve much with that Imperial Age click. He hasn't really started massing any sort of army, and obviously as Celts Imperial Age, you'd ideally, if in a perfect world, if you were a very, very rich player, you'd be wanting to transition into heavy siege and a mix of halbs and woads, but I'd be surprised if you can afford very much other than halberdier, which, whilst doing a great job against the conquistadors when they come into close range, are not really gonna be able to stop further raiding, and with enough conquistadors in play and a bit of micro, Vivi's going to be able to destroy them pretty easily. So I'm just not really sure of the logic of Yinghua clicking up to the Imperial Age with quite such a low population and no real army on the field. If he survives the first few minutes of the Imperial Age, I will be impressed.
Yeah,
So
you're
I think
absolutely
Vivi is ready to push with conchs and unks and trebs.
You're absolutely right, and Vivi is not terribly far behind, about a minute behind in Imperial Age time, and almost 30 villagers ahead. So we will see a strong Imperial army from Vivi with all of those beautiful resources, and we'll just have to see if Yinghua can keep this thing going. At the moment, we're seeing Yinghua queuing up some units in his barracks, and we are seeing pikemen. Okay, pikemen coming from Yinghua. I'm not sure how they're going to do against conchs, but we will keep an eye on it. Another castle up for Yinghua, potentially going to, or for Vivi rather, potentially going to stick with conquistadors at the moment, and we'll keep an eye on that as we go. Meanwhile, this group of conquistadors is looking awfully beefy here from Vivi. Quite a large group. Forward Siege Workshop coming. Vivi is up by 2,000 points and seems to have the pedal to the metal here in the soon-to-be Imperial Age. There's Yinghua getting to Imperial, and we're going to see this game really see if Vivi can get a knockout blow here early here, keeping the pressure on. That Forward Siege Workshop should be very interesting to watch. It seems like at the moment the only army that is coming from Yinghua is in those barracks. We see lots of halbs, soon-to-be halbs coming, a couple of mangonels in defense, but it just is probably going to be an incredibly hard army to use in defense of all of these conchs from Yinghua. Now with +2 armor, double Siege Workshop in the front for Yinghua, and we're going to start seeing a bit of a push here. Rams coming out of those at the moment. Both players up to Imperial, and it seems like Vivi can put the knockout blow on here, although why am I making predictions? I've been wrong already twice this game. Double Siege Workshop here in defense for Yinghua. Those are not going to be up in time to at least stop this initial blush of Rams. Vivi's actually close enough to harass and stop those from going up with his conchs, but he is focusing on this mining camp at the moment. That Ram is active on the front, a few more coming in. We're seeing a monk actively here trying to get a convert. There's one turncoat there in the middle, one Benedict Arnold Conquistador, but it will soon die very quickly. And look at the halbs here from Yinghua in defense. We'll have to see if those can get anywhere close to these conchs before getting cut to pieces.
I think I'm probably still marginally ahead of you, but you will probably see just now that Vivi is able to take down the mass of those halberdiers, but a loss of quite a considerable number of conquistadors, and I think he could have perhaps microed that a little bit better than he did. That said, he does wipe out nearly everything that Yinghua has, and as he begins to push with siege, and Yinghua will have a very tough job repelling that. The other thing is that Vivi is about to drop another forward castle on him, I think, which could spell the end for him, especially if he manages to get it anywhere near those 2 siege workshops in the north, and destroy, take away access to some of the extra gold that Yinghua has to take.
Yes, absolutely. We are seeing those villagers starting to hang out around that double siege workshop. We will see if they drop a castle soon. I believe the man from the future called it. There's that castle. That's going to put pressure on this TC, on the entire front area of Yinghua and both of these siege workshops. Meanwhile, a little bit of a ram war that Vivi has the advantage in as well. Those halbs are coming in one at a time, and they're not really going to get any real damage done. That barracks on the front is going to go down for Yinghua. Vivi is potentially still adding in more rams. Let's see what he's got queued up here. It looks like battering rams are continuing to come out of the 2 forward siege workshops, and it seems like this push could be it. Yinghua, if he has anything left, needs to put everything into slowing down this push from Vivi. This castle on 80%. 8 villagers now forward for Vivi, working on that. Vivi with a 36 villager advantage right now. He's going to be taking stone right on the front area of Yinghua's base. That castle is up, putting pressure on these gold miners, rams, halbs, you name it. And it seems like now the game is starting to get out of control, out of hand for Yinghua. Although Yinghua with a few rams here. Sorry, go ahead there, man from the future.
I don't know how far ahead I am on that, but Vivi actually is throwing up that mine camp so for the purpose of being able to repair the castle.
Beautiful. Good call. Absolutely. Getting enough stone to repair that castle, that's going to allow him to take those rams down. And there is the GG from Yinghua. So, game 1 went to Yinghua because Vivi was incredibly aggressive early, and Yinghua took the punch and survived. In game 2, the opposite happened. Yinghua was more aggressive. Vivi was able to take a punch early from men-at-arms, defend that, and push back with conquistadors. Vivi getting a win on a very, very good map for Vivi. And I guess we will go into game 3.
Thank you,
Thank you,
you wonderful man.
Another donation rolling in there. I will make sure next time I stream to get this proper. Nimano.